So, what's going on? First of all, it's not a crisis. Crisis implies that things wacko and they come back to normal. So what we are in is we're in a new unstable reality. It's a new world, and we know that we don't know. If you know, there's two kinds of people. There's people who think they know, and then there's people who know that they don't know. And I'm one of the guys who knows that I don't know, so I can build into it. Okay, so it's like playing craps. You know your money's on the table, but you know that you don't know what the dice are going to come up with, so you don't bet your entire life savings. We're involved with change. That's the big mantra. That's the story. What we're dealing with here is constant change. That's what I mean by unstable reality. And what's changing? Is it just the jewelry stores and the diamond business? Everything's changing. The economy is changing. The economics, not just the economy, but the economics themselves is changing. Social change. Values of people are changing. Political change. This Obama story, I mean, it's much more than Obama. It's a whole way in which this new generation of people see things. Demographics are changing. You know, what's the average age of people in India? Anybody here know? What? 25. And there's 1.4 billion of them. There are more people under 25, almost twice the American population. Look at that energy, that excitement. Young people changing the world. Anybody remember the 60s in America when we had the average age in America was only 25? I mean, it was just amazing. All that dope and free sex and everything. I mean, it was a whole other world, man. Now we're all old baby boomers. They're creeping around, you know. Generational values. So all these things, economic values, social values, generational stories. Guys, if you're my age and I'm 58, the kids are taking over. And they're probably going to do a better job, a different job than we did. And you can't, you know, just keep running the business the old way. If you get nothing out of me, it's that you have to change your thinking, your strategic approach to what's happening around us. Now, I'm going to throw some charts at you so you can get a bit of an idea. So we'll try to, you know, if you can't beat them, confuse them. So we'll kind of show you a bunch of information, and then we'll try to explain it. But let's look at some of the graphs. Here's your S&P 500, which is important. We were down all the way to 55%. Hopefully people didn't panic and sell. Most people didn't. And they got the ride back up to 20%. So actually, if you're looking from June, was it January over there, things are looking up. You went from 55% below the old days to 20%. Now we've taken a hit this past Friday, noticeably as well. U.S. real estate, I don't know how many people have homes that are underwater. Particularly people in Vegas, I imagine, have that. But we've come back up there also from 60% to 20%. So it looks like we're about 20% below where we were in January of 2008. Look at oil prices. They've also come down. And it's interesting that oil reflects the general economic story of where we are. So how we use things, how we relate to the world around us has a lot to do with the stock market and our values, our real estate values and stuff. But U.S. unemployment is at that 10% level. Unlikely to go down. We may be moving to a world where less people have more money. So that it's normal for 10% of the people who want jobs not to have jobs. Sounds strange. You know, in France, they tried to move it to a 4-day work week or something. But this idea that, you know, the world has changed and now our economy and our society can't give everybody a job, that's starting to become this kind of new reality. And there are people who are older, my age, say, not really older, but whatever, and they can't get a job. They can't get retrained. They're out of the market. And they probably won't ever really have another highly productive or creative job for the rest of their lives. And that's just a reality that you have to confront. Retail sales have come up, and that's very important, that we're seeing that it's not as bad, the world didn't end, U.S. retail sales are bouncing back. But they're still not where they were, and the unemployment is going to provide us with a drag. The less people that have more money or that have more job, etc., that's good. But overall, is that a very unsettled feeling around here about where retail sales are going to go. But I think that we're stabilizing in America, and I think the worst may be over. There's a double dip taking place in Europe. The euro is dying. It's just flat out dying. I put a graph up of it. But we are not through this recession. And I think that this new reality is going to really be taking over. It doesn't mean we won't have good business. It means that the environment is a little more limited. It's more specific. It's more selective. Consumers are thinking differently. You know, they're not thinking, and they're not desiring diamonds. You know, I don't think if we look at what's happened, anybody would say that women want diamonds less. It's just not true. The desire is there. If anything, it's intensified. People want, you know, and we'll talk about that later, but there is no question the diamond demand remains strong. Affordability is another question. Now, the diamond account for the United States, this is basically all the imports minus all the exports. What stays in America? Like if America is a diamond sponge, what stays in this country? And it came down very strongly. But now we see that it came back up again, and it's starting to turn. And here it is in percentages. I don't know. Gold prices. Now, we showed you oil, but gold's gone up 50%. Why? Anybody know why? Someone tell me? She's saying there's a perceived thing that currencies are going down. An easier way to understand that is to simply say gold is a money. Gold isn't a commodity. It's not oil. Gold is a money. So you're not surprised when the euro goes down because Europe really stinks and countries are going almost bankrupt. It doesn't surprise anybody. So gold is a money, and people say, I want gold, I want that security. Gold is also a jewelry. So start thinking that, oh, gold is a money, but gold is a jewelry, and gold is a commodity, but gold is a wedding gift, you know. How does all that work? And why didn't diamonds do this? Interesting question. Rough prices up a little bit, 10% or so. Here's the RapNet story about, you know, discounts to the Rap list or something, and they're basically running it about 27 below for half carats. Why don't you go up with half carats like you did with 3 carats? Well, here's your answer. 27 below for the half carats, about 15 below for the caraters, and 5 below, or almost list for the 3 caraters. So that tells you that the scarcity of the large stones, the squeeze taking place in the rough markets from the Russians, it's like squeezing the supply. And, you know, when you squeeze supply of larger diamonds, which are in scarcer availability, that's where you feel it first. So essentially what we're seeing is maybe some of that gold story on the big stones, people saying, yeah, I better have a 3-carat D4, 3-carat VVS2, yeah, a big stone. And also we're seeing that the supply situation where you reduce the supply of diamonds, I think the Russian Gochran has absorbed about $1.5 to $2 billion of large diamonds. Take that off the market, and you see that the diamond industry responds price-wise. Again, it's not that there's no demand, but it's the relationship between demand and supply. And it's also this idea of investment demand or gold-type demand that forces or gets prices to go up to a certain level. There's some speculation here, too. But these issues of half carats going one way, 3 carats another way, that's part of our story. Because diamonds are really many different types of diamonds and different types of diamond demand. Finally, I'll just show you. I'm almost done with the graphs, everybody. I can't see you too well because of those bright lights. But I hope I haven't giving you so much graphs that, you know, you're going to get glazed in terms of what's going on. But this just shows you basically what's happened with diamond prices. Look at the last column. And it basically tells you where we stand today between 30 below and 3 below on different discounts for diamonds. And it's pretty consistent with size. Larger size, greater scarcity, and the closer you are to the Rapaport price list, the higher the prices are. Oh. Jewelry sales are down, obviously, and U.S. is down. You can see that. The annual growth, we were still declining in 2009, about 4 or 5%. And bank debt is dropped to about $10 billion, and it's heading down Some of the banks are having problems, obviously. But mostly they're just trying to keep the industry afloat so they can get their money back. Thank God. First of all, you stop for a second. Is everybody okay out there? Have I killed you with all these graphs? You all right? Do you like seeing all those graphs? Should I get rid of them next year? You like seeing them? Should I show them again? No. So now let's figure out what's going on here. Well, first of all, this S&P 500 is about wealth. The richer you are, the richer you feel, the more likely you are to buy a diamond. It's sort of like in the casino. You win a bunch of money at the tables, and then you might buy some jewelry, or you actually feel good. I made money. You lose money, you feel bad. Well, think about that in the macroeconomic level. Stock market went to hell in a bucket last Friday. There are people who have their money in stocks, their life savings, their kids' college education, their retirement. You feel your emotions go up and down. And you don't want to gamble. You just want to have a nice, relaxing life. But you are gamblers because your money's in the bloody stock market, because that's how you've built your portfolio. Few people keep cash in their mattress these days, or just cash in the bank. So you are all riding a roller coaster, all of us. And you know what happened with this recession? I mean, think about it like group therapy. Everybody experienced it. You, your customer, your suppliers, your doctor, your accountant, your bank, everybody experienced this up and down surging emotions. And of course, this affects how people relate to wealth and demand for diamonds and demand for jewelry and social values. Obama's got to blame somebody for that oil spill. So we're in this blame generation. It's his fault. It's their fault. But everybody's driving these cars, having a great time. But let's blame that company. So everybody blame somebody. Blame the banks. Blame this one. Blame that one. It's part of this wealth uncertainty of, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Confidence, confidence. And not just that you get the story about this S&P, you get the story about your real estate, your house, your life savings. A lot of people, their basic values of their money, their confidence in themselves, their security, it's all tied up in the real estate and in their unemployment. If you're afraid you're going to lose your job, that does weird things to your head. And you got this baby boomers, this demographics in the United States where you got all these people in their 50s and stuff, and that bulge of the population which is wealthy, which generally would be your diamond consumers, they're all going through all these emotions and feelings. The young people, you know, they're better, they're cool. That's why I like them. Because, okay, they don't have a job, they're going to get a job. The world's in front of them, they feel cool about life, you know. It's cool. And that's why that demographic of the generational shift is so important, because the old guys got beat. We're walking around like wet dogs. And the young guys, man, they say, hey, this is cool. There's change. It's all right. We're going to be fine. World's in front of us. And that's where you see this shift. It's like you're shifting weight on your feet. You know, if you ski or something, you know, and you're kind of like shifting the weight from one foot to the other, from one generation to the other. And that's what we're seeing. And it's a very powerful thing, and it's global. But it's certainly in America. And that affects everything. It affects the politics. Obama is young. And he's black. And he represents a new view of the world. So when we see change, we see it everywhere. It's all one big party. And we have to recognize that that change brings with it a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities. We can't just keep doing things the way we were. And in the demographic side, by the way, there are riches and the niches, like I said. So that's one of the major forces. I can go back. So one of the major forces is external change. You're a nice jeweler. You got a great showcase. You understand your product. But so what? If you're sitting, you know, in the middle of the desert with a jewelry store, Las Vegas, no, but what do? You got to strategically position yourselves. Strategic positioning is more important than your skill set and your inventory and your ability to sell. All those things are nice. But you're like if you're not strategically positioned, you're like a ship on dry land. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. So what you got to be thinking about is not just your business, your silo, your world of jewelry and design and showcases and salesmen and all that. You got to be picking your head up and looking at the world around you and saying, hey, do I have an iPad? Am I part of the changing world? Am I cool? You got to ask that. You got to relate to that. You got to relate, because these are all external changes that are waving into our kind of environment. Tsunamis of change, and you got to move with that. And that's not all. That's just like America. Other countries are experiencing this too. But then there's globalization. We kept thinking, oh, India's a great supplier, China's a great supplier. I go to Walmart, I get my Chinese cheap jeans or whatever. Not cheap, but well-made, good quality, inexpensive stuff. So the world's our suppliers. But you know something? The wealth ain't here, baby. From a global perspective, America is simply a bunch of schnorrers. Really. China's got so much, more dollars than we do, by far. And so when we look at the world, we have to understand that the wealth has moved overseas. And with the demand, the great thing about India isn't that they're diamond suppliers. They're diamond consumers. We have Indian jewelers here at this show coming from India to buy diamonds and jewelry in the United States. Chinese buyers. The future is foreign demand and foreign values. The woman in India getting married is thinking of gold, of a store of value in the gifting in that marriage relationship. This is just about fashion. Now, there's cool stuff happening because the parents will give the old gold, but the young bride wants the husband, the groom, to buy her the diamonds. So there's a different edge to that. And you don't want your mother's old jewelry necessarily. But look, guys, the values of diamond demand have changed and will continue to change as hundreds of millions of new consumers buy diamonds. Hundreds of millions of new consumers, like 20 to 30 million new consumers every year in India. It's huge. And you might say, who cares? Guess what? Your competition is not across the street. You want that HVS1? Why should you get it? There's someone in India who wants it and has better money and better currency than you. Someone in China can pay a better price than you. So you American schnorrers, why should you get the good diamonds? It happened before. If you remember when the Japanese yen was very strong and we had this big Far East boom in the 90s, and jewelers for the first time were selling SIs in the United States. They had never sold SIs. And they were forced to change the quality of the diamonds because the foreigners had a much stronger currency. So the wealth, demand, and the values have globalized and will continue to do so at a ferocious rate. And we're looking at an East-West paradigm, or you can call it a conflict or a duality. That's the word, duality. It's like there's good and there's evil and there's short and there's tall and there's fat like me and skinny and and there's East and there's West. And you've got the India and China. And it's not just India and China, because when India and China light up, they start buying things, hundreds of millions of new consumers. It's not just diamonds. Everything, refrigerators, bicycles, cars. And that lights up the whole Far East. So we're going to see the whole Far East light up like a Christmas tree, as demand for a range of products from millions of new consumers start to drive the global economy as we move out of this global recession. And we have north-south issues, rich versus poor. Africa is the new India. It will be. And we're going to see a part of the world that never had anything, any consuming power, come into the game. And that's wonderful, because it means not just that people now have better lives, which is of course an important social value, but there's more consumers in the world. There's more people buying products. And you even see this duality between Islam and Judeo-Christianity. I mean, Europe's going Islam. There's probably not going to be any Germans 2 generations from now. So the whole world's value system. It'll be cool to wear scarves in America in a few years. I think I'm crazy. But those values that the world moves with tend to change the way we think. And so values are changing around the world, and we're all in one universe, and on all of the things that we're seeing, this melting pot of universality and values are becoming much more interesting, and it's changing in a way which is, one hand, edgy. Oh, these Chinese Indians buying our diamonds. But the other way, it's very unifying. We're becoming a we world rather than a me. I know there's terrorism and there's problems, and there might be wars, and we'll talk about that. But fundamentally, the values of our urban, modern society are becoming very adaptive and absorbing all kinds of different cultures. So our styles, our fashions, our designs, our values, they're all going to change as this new globalization impacts us. It's not just about money, everybody. It's about how the world thinks, and diamonds as a global commodity, as a global statement, will fit into this new rubric of the world. I mean, look at Obamaism. Obama is saying, America's an important force, but we need to get along with everybody. We need to negotiate with Syria. We need to find a new way to find new consensus. And he looks at the old way of these big, powerful companies and armies, and he's saying, hold it a minute, this is not the solution to the future. And he may be right. I'm not exactly an Obamaist, okay? But he may be right, and it doesn't matter if he's right. He's reflecting the change. He's reflecting the new world. He's reflecting the iPad generation. He's reflecting how the world's going to look. Right or wrong doesn't matter. Reality sometimes doesn't matter. Perceptions of reality, how people absorb reality, that's what matters. So get into this idea of a much more sophisticated gestalt of what's happening in the world, and because it's going to affect you and your business for sure. All these new consumers, hundreds of millions, they want things. They want tin, they want copper, they want, what's the name of it, coltan? They want things. And there's not enough to go around, everybody. There's not enough oil to go around, particularly if they stop drilling. And maybe there is right now, but I'm long gold, you know. Not going to go long oil. Because eventually, people want these commodities. And we're going to see kind of what I would call resource warfare. People fighting to get the resources that they want. This whole idea between Australia and China, and guys getting arrested, and you know what's happening now with this oil situation, all of that is pointing in the same direction. Who's going to get the stuff they want to have a good quality life? And in a way, America is blessed because there's not that many of us. But countries like India and China with emerging middle classes have a tremendous appetite for products and minerals and resources, from Africa a lot too. Currencies will probably be the weapons of choice, which means the renminbi is going to come off the dollar, increasing the purchasing power of the Chinese, making them be able to buy diamonds for a song in their local currency. Just imagine what happens when the renminbi goes from, what are we at, 7 today to the dollar to par or something. The Chinese will be able to buy more diamonds, not just because they have the growing economy, 7%, 8% a year against our 1% or something, but because their currency is stronger. So the average monthly wage, a 2-month wage diamond rule means they can actually buy FGs, VSs and stuff. So they'll have more purchasing power. And we're going to see this currency warfare, I think, develop. I'm not sure. Now, this whole idea of global economics is tied into global currency, exchange rates, but it's also tied into interest rates and inflation. So when that renminbi comes up, America will be happy they'll be able to export, but the importing of raw materials and the relationship with the dollar, and that's going to mean interest rates are going to go up. I can assure you, the dollar interest rate is not going to go down. Because we're at zero almost already now. Interest rates aren't going down, everybody. So it's obvious. You've got to be an idiot to imagine that interest rates aren't going to go up. What does that mean when interest rates go up? To the cost of running your business, your store, your bank loans, your memo programs, your ability as a diamond manufacturer to give a retailer free diamonds for the showcase. Interest rates go to 10%, this jokey diamond business is over. You can't play this kind of distribution game Right now, we're at zero interest rates. It's easy for bankers to give money to diamond manufacturers, to give product to jewelers who can stick it in their showcase, and the jewelers are in the business of sort of like rental agencies for showcase space. But what happens when you actually have to pay for the goods? Who's got the money? Because when interest rates goes up, that's going to change the game, and interest rates are going to go up, and I'm telling you in advance, you heard it here. 10% interest rates, not going to be very surprising. And it happens quickly and suddenly and unpredictably. So prepare yourselves, think about strategically, how is your business going to live in a world where you can't get memos so much, you have to have cash to buy diamonds, you have to be able to do things. And by the way, it's not a bad thing. Let's not be judgmental about change. We accept change, we anticipate change, we reposition ourselves for change, and we rock and roll with change. An example, Rapaport. How do I think? The whole world's trying to sell diamonds to America, and America didn't want to buy any diamonds because of the recession. So Rapaport says, okay, I'm not going to sell diamonds to America, I'm going to buy diamonds from America. And I run 40,000 carat tenders, and I sell diamonds from America to India and China. I go the other way. Swim against the current, find new ways, think out of the box. But I'm telling you that all of these stories that are, about this globalization and Obamaism and how the world is changing and Islam versus Judeo-Christianity, all of that fits together. It's really one story, and it has economic impact. And one of the fallouts is going to be interest rates and currency rates and purchasing power. And that's all changing. So how are we going to deal with inflation? How are we going to deal with higher interest rates? It's something that everybody has to start thinking about now when interest rates still haven't gone up. Sure, America will keep interest rates low. And it's funny because everybody blames the banks. They blame the banks. Those terrible banks. And those terrible Goldman Sachs people. But truthfully, it's the United States government that kept interest rates artificially low. They got every person to buy a house. What we did in America is politically very smart. We kept interest rates low so everybody could buy tons of stuff. So China could become a capitalist economy by providing us stuff and not be a communist enemy. We made China rich. We bought off the buggers so we shouldn't have a Cold War. Very smart policy. The net result was that interest rates were so low that it paid to buy a house, and it was a big dream. Everybody could hit their dream. It was the bankers of the Federal Reserve Bank that screwed up, not Goldman Sachs or other bankers, because they created a super speculative environment by bringing the cost of money to nothing. It's still nothing. We are living in an artificial world right now. Our economy today is as artificial as when the Bears people controlled 85% of the diamonds. Except it's a money game. And we're all going to get whacked here if we don't understand that this is an artificial money bubble that we're in right now, and we're still in it. So when money costs money, the rules of the game will change and become tight. So we're sort of like in the ICU unit, getting artificial respiration or, whatever that thing that they do is with the thing down your throat. Everybody's blaming people, but we have to become stronger now. We have to focus on our business. We have to grab an essence of who we are and what we are in order to come through these changes that we're going to see from the economic perspective by social change and everything else, all brought into the game. And what about diamond values? What are diamonds? Are diamonds a store of value? Very important if you're talking about China and India. So the foreign demand perspective of diamonds is clearly, we like diamonds because they're a store of value. That's what the bride in India and China is thinking without question. They're looking at diamonds and they're starry-eyed. I always laugh and I say when the girl's jumping down because she got a diamond, it's not just a diamond she got a man. So it's that relationship thing, But it's also the value of the diamond is there. And if gold is a money, should diamonds be a money? Why are 3 carats so strong? Why are those auctions for those fancy colored diamonds so strong? Is it because suddenly people have become artisty? I love a pink diamond. Maybe the woman's excited a little bit by the pink fashionistas. But the guy's thinking, holy cow, The world's going to hell in a bucket. I got $3 million or $2 million or $5 million in something that doesn't set off metal detectors. Come on, who are you going to trust? You're going to trust your government? If you live in Iraq or Syria or, the world is a lot of different people with money these days. And that own money is still out there. And people have a lot of money. And banks gave a lot of money. So if you happen to be someone today with a lot of money, how comfortable are you? You own the dollars, you went to the euro, you got your ass kicked in, What are you going to own? What do you do with money today if you have money? It's a huge problem. What are you going to do with your money? So they go into gold. That's why gold's gone up, because people like the gentleman over there said, he called it right. He said, I got money. We keep thinking of people that don't have money because a lot of us don't really have money. But you talk to somebody that's got an extra 20 or 30 million or billion dollars, and he's thinking, where do I put my money today? How do I play the game? And what number in the craps table do I put my chips? And he wants to diversify. And then there's the issue of commoditization. Can you buy a diamond without seeing it? If you buy a diamond, is the quality of the diamond going to go down when it's time to sell it? You buy it today as a default, you sell it tomorrow, and you get some song and dance story about what it is or what it was or what it should be. How much confidence do people have in diamonds as a store of value? And is commoditization going to help? Is it good or is it bad? And what about certification? The GIA is pretty good, but they also make mistakes. And then you got IGI is pretty good, very consistent, but at a different grading level. And then maybe you got somebody else who's got a laboratory here and a laboratory there, and some of the laboratories don't even need you to see the diamonds. It's very efficient. It's not funny. and then some labs do see the diamonds with the same name. How honest are we as an industry? Okay, if we a lot of people sell some diamonds, and I guess there was EGL Turkey. The EGL Turkey certificate was a turkey, and they actually killed it around Thanksgiving. But the fact is, EGL Turkey was a turkey for turkeys. But you got these retailers, some in the United States, none in the audience, I would hope, who said, I can't compete against Blue Nile with that stupid thing, that GIA or whatever they're selling at 10 below, and how am I going to do this? So FVBS, here I have an FVBS, it's an EGL Turkey. Consumer knows EGL, AGL, AGS, GIA, IGA. It works. So we have to question this whole idea of certification, and we have a little conference today about it. But this whole idea of what we can do to realize the fact that diamonds have to be a store of value needs to be addressed. We can't keep hiding from it. The prices matter. Everyone, our price is going up, our price is going up. I'm looking at these people and going, what are you guys, drug addicts? What do you care if prices go up? Supposedly it's good if prices go up. Who is it good for? Look at the retail trade perspective. Okay, we live on the margin. You buy something for X, you sell it for X plus Y. If the price of X goes up, your insurance cost, your selling cost, your risk cost, every cost that you have goes up. And it becomes harder to sell because the woman would rather go on vacation or buy a ruby or buy a watch or something else. Higher diamond prices really suck, especially in an economy which isn't doing well. So why do people want higher prices? What are they, nuts? It only makes the mining companies rich. So if you don't have a diamond mine, why do you want higher diamond prices? I don't understand it. You have a little bit of inventory, so you're going to make 3% or 5%. But then to sell the stuff, you're going to sweat blood and tears. Lower diamond prices, you sell more diamonds. So it's kind of a weird thing that everyone has somehow, by osmosis, absorbed the dreams of these mining companies where they've kind of brainwashed us into this junkie. And why I say it's like drugs, because once you figure that your profit isn't coming from selling the diamond and adding value, you start to figure, if you're a diamond manufacturer or a rough speculator, that your profits come from price appreciation. So you want to hold inventory. You're like a mining company sucker. And then you're addicted to prices going up to make your profits. Because if prices don't go up, you don't make any profits. Essentially, you're sort of like a slave. So this whole idea of higher prices, it's not a great way to make a living, everybody. If you want to gamble, I can teach you how to play craps, 3 numbers, full odds, and you'll be fine. Lowest odds in the house. Okay, you don't have to play with diamonds if you want to be a price speculator. Oil looks good, you know, there's a million things to speculate. The inventory question, how much inventory should we have and who should have it? Do we sell diamonds for cash? I'm talking about in the trade, the B2B. Even B2C, but B2B, do we sell diamonds for cash? And if not, why not? How real are diamond prices? You talk to somebody, say, I made this price for the diamond. I made that. But I sold it to someone on 180 days credit. He can return it after Christmas. And I also sold some other stuff cheap. And it's all this camouflage, this risk. Do we price risk properly in our industry? How real are we? How real are our prices? How real is our business? What are we standing on? And so all this camouflaging and BSing each other about things, it's not healthy. We should know this is what the damn thing is worth. By the way, so should the consumer. I have a little old lady in Florida, and I don't know why, but I know why, but women live longer than men. Anybody notice that? Okay. Men work, get heart attacks, die, and women, they hang around, play canasta or something. Particularly in Miami Beach. And they all drive Cadillacs, 30 miles an hour. Should not make fun of my mother, I love her. But the truth is that a lot of these women, they want to send their grandchildren to college. And when they hear that diamonds are valuable, they want to do it. So why shouldn't they be able to resell their diamonds and send their grandchildren to college? Consumer confidence. Consumer confidence and advertising programs and all kinds of nonsense. Buy back the goddamn diamonds and give the woman a fair price, and you'll have consumer confidence. Woman walks into a jewelry store, and the jeweler runs under the counter. He's hiding under the counter. I'll buy it for $3,000. I sell it for $30,000. It's not fair. It's not honest. So why don't we support our markets? Oh, you know, there are more diamonds coming out of Florida than South Africa. And why are we stuck with making money off what comes out of the ground? Diamonds are forever, everybody. And it's a huge opportunity. We should be buying the diamonds back, increasing consumer confidence, and making money. The wealthiest diamond guys in the world, the best segment of the diamond industry today, is the resale market for diamonds. More competition in the resale markets is wonderful. I was talking to a guy from De Beers, and I was saying, you know, we're doing these tenders, and he's going, oh, that's terrible, you're competing against us, we're selling the rough diamonds. I says, you idiot, I'm the roto-rooter man. I'm cleaning up the markets. I'm giving people cash so they can buy more new diamonds and they can readjust their inventory, and we can make the Indians and the Chinese happy. Move this stuff, cycle this stuff, move the diamond from point A to point B. That's how we make money. B2B, B2C, B2BC, internet, stores, any way you want. Move the diamond to somebody who wants it more than the guy who has it today. That's how we make money. And that's what we should be doing. And whether it comes from Florida or South Africa, shouldn't be a damn of a difference. So we have to kind of modernize how we think about inventory. And we have to answer the question, are diamonds a good investment? For us. For us. If we don't believe in this stuff, why should our customer? And these are all issues that sit there and they weigh on us. And I don't care if the world's changing or the world's not changing to some degree. They sit on our hearts. And we have to honestly look at them. Can no longer avoid asking ourselves these questions. And I don't necessarily know the answer for each of you. But at least ask the question. The rough supply and demand, okay, you got this crazy world where the Russians do, I think the Russians play, they shortage one year and the Beers people play. The other year, I imagine there's no collusion, because I imagine there's no collusion. But the bottom line is that the Russians today, why is that funny? I think someone's listening to me here. It's shocking. Okay. But anyways, there's no supply. They're holding back the rough. Big stones holding back. There's a good reason. I mean, you can't shut down a mine in Siberia and then reopen it. It's not like a light switch. And the government's holding back the rough, and then there's more supply. A lot of speculation in rough. And when speculators win, they increase their bets. By the way, anybody's gambling in the casino, if you're losing, walk away from the table. God gave you feet for a reason. If you're winning, stay at the table. Increase your bets. That's how you make money. When you're winning, increase your bets. When you're losing, decrease your bets or go away. So if you're a rough speculator, and rough prices have gone up a lot, are you going to stop speculating on rough? And if the banks are giving you money to speculate, so you can't really lose, because if you lose, the bank won't kill you. They'll just give you more money because they don't want to realize that they lost, because they're in denial too. So what the heck? It's a good game. If you win, you win. If you lose, you don't lose. And so this has been going on in these rough markets. Polished supply and demand, also interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on with certificates. The finance sector is kind of screwy. Banks don't really know what to do. There's a rationalization taking place. The debt's coming down to $10 billion, which is healthy. But there's still too much money out there. Interest rates go to 10%, boom. All that money is going to dry up. All that speculation is going to dry up. And the speculative premium on prices of rough is going to collapse in a matter of minutes. So don't speculate. But the big question is distribution. What's diamond distribution going to look like over the next decade? Will Blue Nile win? Completely? Totally? Absolutely? Or Blue Niles? I mean, I own diamonds.com. I haven't had time to play with it, but I will. So thinking about how consumers buy things. And by the way, it's not so terrible. People say, oh, you're against retailers. Rapaport, you're terrible. You're a commodity freak. You're a Blue Nile idiot. You're internet. That's not true. I love retailers, and retailers are vital. And understand this, distribution-wise. Tiffany is at a 42% markup. Blue Nile is at a 21% markup. You can just look at their financial statements. They're public companies. Now, how is it that Blue Nile has not put Tiffany out of business? Come on, everybody wants price, don't they? And wait. There's fashionistas and there's people who really want to feel good and they like the blue box. So how come Tiffany hasn't put Blue Nile out of business? Let's make it easy. How come everybody doesn't eat at McDonald's every night? Same cow, same hamburger. They're probably still selling, they even have veggie in both. And how come people eat it, I don't know, there's nice Valentino's here right out the door. How can that be? A hamburger's a hamburger. Because people want different experiences. They want different things. The young woman from Connecticut who's marrying this guy who went to Yale and he's now working against, he was working at Goldman Sachs, eh? So that guy, he's got to buy her the blue box from Tiffany. Because it isn't about the diamond. But some women, they like size. They want a bigger diamond. They're into size. Other women say, hey, I want a Tiffany diamond. All women want the man to suffer. They want to know that he, is going out there and he is giving her something. He is spending the time, and if he doesn't shop, I bought on the internet, here's a diamond, I got a good deal. Most women aren't going to be too excited about a guy like that. They'll probably hate his guts. The bum didn't even shop for me. And for women, of course, shopping is a religion. So you expect the guy to shop and do the things that they do, but they don't realize that guys are not women. But that's another story. But the fundamental thing is the woman wants the guy to suffer. She could be Chinese, Indian, American. She could be a Yalie, or she could be, a redneck. It doesn't matter. The guy's got to show her that he's willing to give up something, golf clubs, a yacht, whatever, for her. And it has to be altruistic. It has to be something that has no value to him at all. He's not going to wear that ring. No way. And it should be worth money. Because she knows and he knows that money really does matter. Women are not stupid. How do we know that women aren't stupid? How do we know that women are smarter than men? That not only do you have the diamonds, you get the guy to buy them for you. How many women buy guys diamonds? Think about that. So women know what they want. Women are smart, and they know what they're doing, and their culture knows what they're doing, and societies know what they're doing, and this transcends everything. Countries, religions, Political systems, it's transcending everything that the diamond is positioned as this gift, or sometimes it's gold. There used to be pearls in Japan. This idea of gifting, of value, high value. So the Tiffany experience, for the woman knowing that this diamond came from Tiffany and it was an altruistic gift, raises the relationship to a level of altruism. We have love. We have something beyond pure, rational, sexual appeal. There's something else going on here. There's love, there's emotion, there's altruism. And you need to understand that in the distribution. Of course, we'll talk more about it. But essentially, don't be so afraid of the internet if you know what you're doing. But of course, you're going to have to know what you're doing. So what are these challenges before us? This whole transparency issue. What do you do when the guy shows up with the Blue Now printout and walks into your store? What do you say? How do you deal with it? Well, I find that whenever I'm in a screwed up situation, I simply tell the truth. I say, guess what, darling? I'm a retailer. I give added value services. I give added value stuff. I make sure it's a good diamond for you. I do whatever it is that I do, and therefore I'm entitled to make a profit. And that's it. Mark Moeller, a friend of mine, says that when people walk into his store and they show up with a thing and the guy says, okay, you want to buy this diamond? Which one? No? Okay, give me your credit card. Let's buy it right now. Right now, come on, we'll buy it. We'll buy it from now. Right now, we'll buy it. Let's go. But I don't know. I want to know. I want to make sure. I want to talk. Oh, you want all that? Pay me for it. You're not willing to pay me for my work or my time, my effort? There's the door. How confident are you in what you're doing that it's really worth money? And if you are confident in who you are and what you're selling, then be cool about it. Be honest about it. Be transparent about it. Say, it's okay. I make 20%, 25%. We make 5% in our tenders. You don't want to do the tenders? Go to hell. No problem. But be who you are, what you are, where you are. Be transparent and don't be afraid of it. As Cy Sims, a guy who used to sell a lot of pants, he said, an educated consumer is our best customer. Wasn't afraid. I don't mean where we educate consumers about everything but. So we teach them about the depth percentages and the table percentages and the fluorescence and this and that. We don't talk to them about the price too much, though, do we? So we try to tell them this, we try to tell them that, but just be honest. The internet versus bricks and mortar is not a challenge if you know who you are and you know what you're doing. And this idea of investment and luxury branding isn't necessarily the end of the world either. But these are challenges, and most people don't know how to deal with them. And I can't tell you, each of you, one of you may be a jewelry designer who makes beautiful stuff. Another one may be some kind of a retailer who really knows how to take care of their customer really well and exude confidence. And some of you might be really good diamond cutters, or really might be good. Whatever your personal story is, and there's a vast range of people here. You know, whatever your story is, you got to think about these issues and how you can justify who you are, what you are. We talked about certification as a challenge, and then there's this big thing about social responsibility. Now, it's not just the demographics that younger people are taking over, like I explained. And, a lot of us don't care that much about global warming because we figure we'll be dead by the time the icebergs melt anyhow. But our kids are starting to notice, particularly those kids in Texas today, that it is getting warmer. And the me generation has become a we generation. There's a whole social shift in values. And young people are much more interested in the environment and values that are cool. Cool, literally. But they're interested in all these values. And so social responsibility, even if we didn't think, and I'm really going to talk about the ethical and moral aspects, but social responsibility is a key aspect of our identity and what we're doing as jewelers and what we're providing our customers with. And if we lack social responsibility, social grace, or whatever you want to call it, we are not going to have a living. We're not going to make a living. Because we're not selling, hot dogs or sneakers. Not to say that Nike didn't suffer tremendous reputational damage to their brand with child labor in China at the time. But I'm saying to you that diamonds are a very special product. And incorporated in the diamond dream is the idea of goodness, of just being nice. And if we have diamonds from Merengue, Zimbabwe, 225 minimum amount of people were killed in September, October 2008. Diamonds are sold with Kimberly process certificates. Well, it's fine. And they're in somebody's showcase here. Kill people, sell the diamonds, it's okay. I mean, if I went out here in Los Angeles, took a shotgun, blew up a couple of jewelers, took the diamonds, went to sell them in the Diamond Dealers Club, somebody would stop me. Hey, who are we? What are we? Where's our values? And then you get the World Diamond Council saying, oh, it's okay, you know, Kimberly process. It's a lie. It's a scam, it's a sham, it's evil. So you got to know where your diamonds come from, everybody, or just don't sell diamonds. Hey, it's not the end of the world. But if you're going to sell diamonds, you really have a responsibility to make sure that people didn't get killed for the diamonds. So they stopped killing people in Morangi today. Now they just rape women and enslave people. I'm not talking about, like, you know, blood diamonds being child labor, which is a question, which I'm not so worried about child labor because different societies have different ideas about children and how it works with AIDS and everything. But I'm not talking about environmental damage. I'm talking about rape and forced servitude. Today. I just got an email last night from the State Department. My guys are, 600,000 carats are about to leave right now, that place. And are we as an industry doing enough about it? We're not. It's not just social responsibility because we have to have a brain, because if the NGOs keep whacking our industry and, consumers are going to say, I don't want to buy diamonds, I want to buy something else, which makes sense to me, by the way. I'd feel uncomfortable buying a diamond if I didn't know where it came from. Maybe I know too much. But it's not just that. That's our brain. Our business is going to go down the hill. Where's our heart? Where's our heart? Where's our sense of human decency? Okay? And we can't trust our leadership. Diamond industry leadership, and excuse me, I'm going to say my view here. If it's the Jewelers of America, if it's Responsible Jewelry Council, if it's the World Diamond Council, in my view, they all suck. Because they don't have the balls to tell the diamond industry the Kimberly process is full of shit. Did I say that? Yes, I did. The Kimberly process is full of shit. And I don't trust our leadership. Because they're scared and they don't know what to do. And we don't scared and don't know what to do. Be transparent, tell the truth. And there's no untruth about truth. And if we have to change how we do business, let it be. There's problems with that too. There's unintended consequences that scare me. The fact of the matter is we have to make sure the diamonds we sell are kosher, they're clean, and they're correct. And that is the essence of who we are and who our business is. And we should never forget that. So, what are the opportunities? We all live in the margin of change. Remember what I said about diamond prices? What do I care what diamond prices are? I care what my profits are, what my markup is. The world is changing, okay, but we live on that margin of change. So it's not what is, it's how things change, how we move the diamond from point A to point B, how we adapt to the new opportunities. That's what matters. Change is your friend because it gives you an opportunity to make some money. If there was no change, no one would need you. Well, the little jewelers would go away, there'd be 3 companies selling diamonds, and that would be the end of everything. Change is opportunity. Remember that. Know that. Go for that. Hunt out. Seek change. Look for it. Love it. Embrace it. It's the essence of where you're going to make your money. But ask yourself the question, who needs you? Who needs you? What are you doing that's useful? Honestly, look in the mirror and say, who needs me to sell them diamonds or jewelry or whatever added value scenario you have? Resolve your identity crisis. Why am I doing this business? My granddaddy was in the business. The business is going down. The business is changing. I don't know what to do. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who are you? Who needs you? What the hell are you doing? There's riches in the niches. You can find a place. Everybody can, I'm pretty sure, if you're aggressive about adapting to change and hitting your customer and really being a good person. There's definitely opportunity out there because people want diamonds. They want diamonds. There's no question about the fact that people want diamonds. But what are you doing to meet that want? And let me tell you, all this change is great. It's great for guys like me. There's a story in Africa. There's a guy. Did I get this African story last year to you guys? All right. The lions? Okay. There's these 2 buddies, right? And like they're hanging out in Africa. And in Africa in the evening when the sun goes down, the lions like to go out and eat. And you can see the antelopes are very edgy. If any of you guys have not been on safari, I strongly encourage you to go on safari. It's a tremendous experience. I took my whole family. It was great. And you can see the antelopes. They're like the food chain. They're like a little nervous, you know. And the lions are walking around, you know, checking things out. And these two guys, these two buddies, are hanging out there in the savannah, and they see a lion coming at them. And one of them bends down to put on his sneakers. And his friend says, sneakers? You think you can outrun the lion? And he says, no, I don't have to outrun the lion. I just have to outrun you. When the world changes, and your competitors are lazy bums, they don't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to hear Rapaport, okay? Hey, you inherit the world, baby. You got it. You rock. You're there. So grab all the goodies. Go with the change. Learn how to surf. Learn how to surf tsunamis. The bigger the wave, the more fun you're going to have surfing. The other guy's going, oh my God, it's a big wave. What am I going to do? And if you get your surfboard, you learn how to surf a little. You learn how to do things. You can open up your mind. You think out of the box. You're going to have fun. You're going to inherit the world. And the lion's going to eat the other guy. So remember that. This is an opportunity. Generational opportunity. Shifting opportunity. Happens once in a generation, once in 30 years, 50 years. Take advantage of this great opportunity that you have. I don't know if it means buying back diamonds, if it's becoming socially responsible jeweler, if it's selling fair trade. I don't know what it means to you. But look around because there's unbelievable opportunities there. Obviously, if you're making a living, if you could afford to come to Vegas, still, you have to be adding value to whatever it is you're selling. Service, product, whatever. Increase that added value. And charge a fair price for your added value. If Tiffany charged 100%, maybe they do it 200 to 1,000%, everyone would buy a Blue Nile because the value of their added value wouldn't be worth it. Really, honestly, figure, what are you doing? What's your identity? What's your story? How are you adding value? What's a good price for that? Charge a fair price for that, and your business will go right through the roof. Because consumers aren't stupid. You can't make money because they don't know prices. You make money because people will value what they got and what you're giving them, and they'll say, this is a good deal. So make that transition to understanding, and even more important, forget about the diamonds. You're not selling diamonds. You're not selling jewelry. You're selling the customer's desires. Transcend the product to the customer. The hell with the product. What does the customer want? What does the customer need? What does the customer feel? Feel. How do you feel about the customer? Be realistic, real about your customer. Talk to them. Love them. Relate to them. That's what it's all about. It's all about the customer. And then brand your added value. When I say brand your added value, a brand is not a name. Does anybody here know what a brand is? What's a brand? What? Nah. What's a brand? What? A culture. What's a brand? What did you say? A promise. A brand is a promise. A promise to your customer. You go into Tiffany. You can be the best customer. You want a KSI 1. Do they have it? No, because the brand is also what you don't do. It's a promise to the customer. I give you quality. I give you my heart and soul. I give you my love. I give you whatever the hell, good design. I give you great service. I give you whatever I give you, but you give it honestly. So the idea of the brand isn't so much just the name. The reason I tell you to brand isn't because of a marketing. Branding forces you to have an identity. Who am I? What's my promise? And if you transcend the product to the customer, and you have a promise to the customer, and it's a good promise to the customer that adds value, you're going to make a lot of money. And if you don't, you're toast. You're just another schlepper with diamonds. Really get into your heart and soul. I can't tell you what your brand should be. I can't tell you what your promise should be because it has to come from within you, not from some marketing company. From your heart, your soul, what turns you on, baby? And if you have that within you, that desire, that passion for jewelry or for diamonds, great. And if you don't, get the hell out of the business today. Go. And if you do, Prepare to make a lot of money. Because if you think yourself through, and you get that added value down, and you're passionate about it, you're going to make a lot of money. Particularly since most of the other people are bumbling around like idiots in a world that's changing. They're getting whacked by tsunami waves. They're not even thinking of getting a surfboard. So what you want to do is you want to really understand and have a good little identity crisis relationship with yourself. Oop. Ooh. You killed me here. I mixed up my slides. So, the question is, what's the ultimate luxury? Are we in the luxury business? Are we in the luxury business? Are we in the luxury business? All right, I was going to yell, show me the money, but it's luxury. So tell me, what's the ultimate luxury today, after my whole spiel? Because I want to leave time for questions and answers and attacks. So what is the ultimate luxury today? Meh. But I told you to transcend the product. Hell with diamonds. Diamonds are an excuse to make money. What? I can't hear you. Satisfaction. Well, then you may get some satisfaction if you give the girl a diamond. That's possible. But that's not exactly what people really, really want. Huh? What was the phrase? Happy? Security. People are afraid. Her friend's husband lost his job. Can I continue to be in the same country club? Can I continue to send my daughter to the same school? People are scared because when they're changed, they're frightened. And what do people want? People want security. People want to know that everything's going to be okay. They'll give up some extra fun, some extra satisfaction. They just want to know their ass is covered and they're going to have a good life and the world's not going to mess them up. And all this change and tsunamis and all this crap isn't going to ruin what they've lived their life for. Especially if they're baby boomers who've worked their whole life to get someplace and now they're afraid they're not going to be, they're going to lose it all. They're going to have to go back into work. They can't retire. They lost their life savings. They're afraid. People are afraid. You know what they want? They want security. And what kind of security do they want? Financial and emotional security. That's what people want today. It's obvious. It's clear. People want to know, marriage rates are going up because people are afraid. They want a spouse. They want someone to hang on to. Someone to suffer with or enjoy with. They want something and someone to hold on to. It's no longer cool to be alone because the world is cruel and you're afraid. And at some level, everybody's afraid. You looked at your balance sheet, you looked at your this, you looked at your that, you don't know what the hell's going to happen, you don't know. You are afraid at some level. And it isn't just about your customers, it's about you. And if you don't beat down that fear by having a plan, by having a way to get through this mess, you just don't feel right. I mean, come on, when you really, really, you go to your room at night or morning and you're alone and you look in that mirror and you ask yourself, how do I feel about me and the world and all that stuff that's going on? There's got to be that little bit of, and your customers feel it. So tell me, my friends, what's the ultimate diamond brand? What are we really selling? No, security. Financial, emotional security. The guy gives the girl that diamond. It's worth a lot of money. She gets the guy. She gets the diamond. It's worth money. That diamond is an amazing package of financial and emotional security. Go to the woman in India. Her parents never had any money. The woman in China. They're coming from absolute poverty, a lot of these people. Wow, I got the diamond, man. It means everything to me. It gives me both things together in one package. I got a man and I got a diamond and I got emotional security. I look at it every day. I feel strong. I feel good. I feel safe. Our diamond is one of the best products in the universe because it incorporates emotional and financial security in one package. It really kicks ass. Do we know that? Do we sell that? Are we selling the depth percentage and the table percentage and this? What are we selling? What are we doing? And so the future of the diamond industry is based on our idea, on our ability to marry the ideas, not the products, the ideas of financial and emotional security. Diamonds are the ultimate luxury because of their source of financial and emotional value. Emotional value, not just dollars, value. I value him. He values me. The man and the woman sharing their values, symbolized in the diamond. That's what we're selling, everybody. It's not a product. It's an emotion. It's a reflection. It's a symbol. Transcend the diamond. Sell the idea. Thank you. Okay. I'm not bad on the time. I'll talk to the GI kids in a minute. But questions. Feel free to ask me questions. Is this okay? Everybody cool? All right? Hit some issues here? Good. Any questions? Yes, young lady in the back. Speak loudly. Or is there a microphone here? I like her. A loud woman. Okay, there'll be a discussion this afternoon on fair trade. The Kimberley process was designed by governments for governments with a definition of conflict diamonds that said diamonds by rebel forces. So there is no human rights aspect to it. You can kill somebody, take their blood, stamp the Kimberley process certificate with the blood, and it's fine. And the reason is because when they made the Kimberley process, and I was actually in Kimberley when we started the thing, I was part of it, there was a war in Sierra Leone against the government, and we needed to stop it. And it worked for a while. Unfortunately, today, the Kimberley process certificates, it's like it came out of kosher diamonds, actually. So it's like you got this rabbi stamping ham sandwiches kosher. Because in Zimbabwe, the government has turned against its people. Helicopter gunships of the military were shooting the diggers. It's like a Hitler situation where you have a government that goes bad against their own people. Kimberley process doesn't deal with human rights. It doesn't deal with that. So all this false messiah that the Kimberley process can deal with human rights abuses is just a lie. And it wasn't designed to do that. It's like the American Heart Society solving AIDS. It just doesn't, it wasn't designed for that. It doesn't do that research. It doesn't address that issue, which is why we as an industry need to move on and come up with solutions beyond Kimberley. Vital to do that. It just doesn't work. And it's good for what it does, so if there's a rebel movement, say, in America, the tea people go crazy, it'll work. But it'll work in governments when there's revolutions. So it's not evil, it just doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and it's being misrepresented by the trade. And conflict diamonds is an evil phrase that should not be used to refer to human rights abuses. It's a misleading, false phrase. It's like saying the diamond is pretty or the diamond is clean without being more specific. So it's misleading. Next. Everybody okay today? Sure.
It's a two-part question.
Good, I like parts.
Thank you. I'm Larry Bach from Hoover and Strong. I want to applaud you for the statements you just made, and I have a two-part question. One, what is the best way for us to know where our diamonds are coming from? And two, can a diamond that came from a mine and was sold to a customer and resold to the trade alleviate some of the problems in the human rights aspect of diamonds?
Well, there's a lot of discussion, and we'll have it later this afternoon. But one thing is know your supplier. If your supplier is a dog, don't buy from it. Ask the question. We can't solve the entire problem, and you can't be 100% clear unless you know the actual diamond mine that produced the diamond, that turned it into polished, that turned it into a ring, that turned it into the jewelry shop, which is difficult in the current environment. Not that it can't be done, and then you won't have things like and this is why it's scary, because this chain of custody of events is good, but it's also damaging, because people say, you go on the internet and you say ethical diamonds or conflict diamonds, and you see someone saying, buy Canadian diamonds. But in Sierra Leone, 26% of the children die before the age of 5. And 90% or 70% of their income is all from diamonds. So we're saying the ethical thing to do is to starve the people in Sierra Leone and buy Canadian diamonds so BHP can make a few bucks. You can't tell me that's the ethical solution. So unfortunately, what we have to do is we have to go into these artisanal sectors and kosherize their diamonds as well. The unintended consequences of a clearly defined supply chain mechanism is that the people that can't join this clearly defined mechanism, which are some of the poorest people in the world, get excluded. It may not be so bad because the Chinese and maybe some of the Indians don't care about the supply chain, so it's not the end of the world. But there's a real problem of unintended consequences. Now, recycling diamonds, or gold, is one of the things that people are trying to do, and it's kind of nice and it's okay. You might see a diamond that's an old diamond or something like that. You know, it's all fine, and that's good, and I'm not against that. But the real problem that we have in this industry is what do we do with poverty alleviation in the mining sectors? Because when CNN goes into the Congo and shows how diamonds are being used to hurt people, that has to damage us. And I'll just tell you one more African story. There's an African chief, and he comes to his village, and everybody's looking for a diamond that was lost. You know, some artisanal digger found it, and everybody's looking. And then the chief says, bring me the person that lost the diamond. So they bring him this person. And he says, where did you lose the diamond? And she says, I lost it in that cave. So the chief says, well, why are we all looking here? He says, here there's light. Here there's light. So there's light in recycling. There's light in Canadian diamonds. There's light in chain of custody. But the cave, the real problem for our industry, is to recognize that God gave the poorest people in the world diamonds for a reason, and He wanted the richest people in the world to buy them for a reason. And that synergy, that energy, that kismet, that karma, that's one of the reasons that we exist. So we can't ignore millions of the poorest people in the world that also come up with diamonds, and we must find solutions. And there's no easy 1, 2, 3. I've been working this for 11 years, and it's not. But we at least have to try to address that issue. It's the essence of who we are as an identity as a good industry. It's the second part. No second part? All right, we have a whole meeting this afternoon on fair trade. That's great. Who else?
Marty, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You mentioned before that high prices for diamonds are bad for us.
What?
High prices for diamonds are bad for us.
For some retailers, yeah.
Yes, for everybody. I agree with that. Only for the miners.
Not for the mining companies and inventory. Yes. Speculators do well.
But I feel that you're the main driver of high prices, because the true transparency of prices exists today. On your own list, you have, let's say, 100 HVS2s, 1 characters, priced a certain way, so you know what the price is. By you raising the list, you artificially, automatically make the price higher for everybody. Automatically, because yesterday it was 25 below the list, now all of a sudden it's 25 below the new list. What purpose does your list today have any real function? You should be printing what you do have right now, the prices that are listed on your, make a bell curve, prices that are listed by everybody, and there you have an automatic price. By you raising the prices, you're just making the mining companies rich and us poor.
That's great. First, I appreciate the question. It's great. That's what I love about the diamond industry. We don't BS around, we go right to it. Sal, can I get a Rapaport magazine here? Look, there's 2 price lists like this. First of all, there's this thing called RapNet, which lists all those billions of dollars of diamonds, and if you look at RapNet, you can actually see the best price for any given category, which I think what you were referring to, right? So you can go onto the RapNet and you can see that there's a stone at 26 below the best price, and you can see the average price. And that is a thing that I don't set those prices. 4,798 people can list diamonds there. There's $5 billion listed, so people do their own thing. And that's cool. I love RapNet, and I encourage it. And that's why, Ariel, do we have my briefcase here? Do we have Ariel here? In that, you'll see a Rapaport price list. Now, in the Rapaport magazine, with the price list, is the RapNet price list. So we actually show you, and we say, here it is, baby. Here's the discount. Here's the lowest price for a D-flawless with a GIA certificate, a nice cut, and all that. Triple VG or better. And here's the average price on RapNet. So transparency is the way we deal with this. Now, you say to me, we have this Rapaport price list that everybody uses, which is like a benchmark price because people tend to trust me. Now, that price list is something that we put out there, I put it out there with our team, to let the world know where we see a balanced, stable kind of a price environment. And when we see prices come up towards the list, and you saw those 3 carriers, like 5 below, we adjust the Rapaport price list higher. Now, what happens is that people look at the list and use it. They see RapNet, and it's open. It's in the actual magazine. It's right there. But people use the Rapaport price list, and they trust us to give them an indication. Now, I remember about a year ago, we've dropped the prices, a year and a half ago, and there was yelling at me, how dare you drop the prices? Now people are upset that I go up with the prices.
Nobody was yelling at you. Everyone yelled at you.
Let me finish.
When you raised the price 25% 2 years ago.
Right.
Overnight.
No, guys, but the point is this. The Rapaport prices has got to affect what we see, Martin Rapaport sees as reality. And my reality today is that 3 carat and larger prices are going up. They are. Physically, they're going up. If you've got any at 20 below, everybody here will buy them. 25 below, you got 3 carats and up, DEF, VBS is where we went up, go right ahead. So it's my opinion, really. And then sometimes I'm not necessarily happy about going up with the prices, but I have to face reality. I got to look in the mirror and say, that's what's happening. But the bottom line with this is that, and it's kind of weird, but when all of the buyers are yelling at me that my prices are too high, and all the sellers are yelling at me, or not yelling, but upset that my prices are too low, when everybody's upset with me, I'm doing a pretty good job. And that's the fact. That's just the way it is. Okay?
But you yourself said by raising prices, you're only making the mining companies rich.
That's right. And hey. If prices go up 20% the next week because the RMB comes off the dollar and it causes everybody to go bankrupt, I'll still go up with diamond prices.
No, the reason why it's going up
you're not getting the point.
There's an artificial...
There's no artificial.
Yes, there's an artificial contraction of rough. By, like you said, there might be collusion, and there's an artificial contraction.
But you can't understand something. Right now, what interests me, at what price can this diamond change hands? And it's because the Russians are crazy, or the bears are crazy, or you're crazy, or speculators are crazy. I don't give a hoot. I look at one thing in the Rapaport price list. This price for this diamond, what is it? And that's what I follow. And sometimes it's bad because the market's going nuts, and I go nuts with the market. Okay?
But what happens is when there's a...
Guys.
Okay.
Listen, I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, though. I appreciate you raising the issue. But the bottom line is prices. And thank you. Thank you. And by the way, I can be wrong, everybody. Sometimes I'm wrong, too, you know? But we try to follow the market no matter where it leads us. It doesn't lead us to good places.
Don't mean to hog the mic, but yesterday I was telling somebody that, in my opinion, the price of rough is going up because diamond sales are down, but the operating cost of De Beers has a stability, and they have to produce rough, which is their purpose, and they have to support the prices with half of the customers they had a few years ago.
There's a lot of reasons, but the point is that ultimately I don't care. I'm not a psychiatrist for the diamond market. I'm a guy who takes a look and says, what happened? This is what happened, and I tell you the weather. Why it's raining? I don't know why is it so hot? It's the weather. I'm a thermometer. I tell you yesterday's weather. You know, but fundamentally, I can't get involved with, I'm going to do this because then the industry will be better than that. I'm not here to protect anybody. I'm here to reflect what's going on. 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're done here. We're finished? Last. Synthetic diamonds are good if there's transparency. Most everything is good if there's transparency. The Federal Trade Commission will tell you that the consumer is best served when there is the broadest basket of services available. So there should be synthetics, there should be treated, if you can detect them. There should be all kinds of diamonds and all kinds of products available to the consumer with honesty about what it is. And by the way, if prices go crazy because rough people go nuts, people will buy synthetics, and then later on they'll buy better ones. You know, I was in Shanghai going, look at Swarovski. Great story. Fantastic. They don't even need synthetics. They got glass, crystal. Look at the designs. Look how... You know, I saw young couples in Shanghai going into Swarovski shops buying engagement rings. Couldn't afford the real diamond. But as soon as he'll make money, later on, he'll probably get her a real diamond. But the idea here is that they're servicing the needs of the customer. So it's not the product. So there's nothing wrong with synthetic diamonds, or any diamond, or anything that meets the customer's desires, as long as you're 100% honest about it. Okay? Okay, well, thank you all very much. and have a great show. And visit our booth.